You have a routine, you stick to it no matter what, because it keeps your mind organized about what you need to do. It gives you energy, it gives you structure.
Hi, welcome to the Realtors Conspiracy Podcast. I'm here today with Brandon Lee, your lawyer and co-founder with integrisla. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. How are you doing today?
Very good, very good. Beautiful day.
As long as the sun is shining, I'm happy.
Yeah, I agree. So you are co-founder of integrisla, and you're here today to help us figure out how can realtors benefit from having a close relationship with a lawyer. And so tell us more about how do you support realtors?
Sure. Well, it's really a matter of being available when necessary at the drop of a hat sometimes in order to make sure that tricky parts of the closing or about the whole sales process get done. As a matter of policy with the firm, any agents that we work with get our direct cell phone numbers so that if they do have an issue with a clause in the evening, maybe they're trying to get something done at 9 o'clock at night, maybe they're trying to get something done on the weekend, we're available through text, through phone calls. There's been more than one occasion I've gotten a call at 10 o'clock at night because they're trying to get something closed.
Nice.
So number one, it's access and communication, because you're dealing with a lot of money, you're dealing with property, you're dealing with people's livelihoods and also lots of commissions. So you have to be able and willing, from my side, to do real estate agent hours, which is what we're happy to do.
Nice, very cool. And what's the benefit to them other than having someone on call that's always available? Like, what about the benefit to them you bring with the knowledge and experience you have?
Right. So it's, not every real estate transaction is the same. Sometimes there are ones that have little unique pieces to them. So it's good to maybe manufacture a clause that might help with that. When COVID-19 broke, we actually worked with some of our partners to make alterations, some changes to some COVID clauses so that we could keep deals moving through.
Nice.
And that was really important. And that was uncertain times. I guess communication and also making sure that the agents know that they have someone that has their back. And also, from a marketing perspective for agents, it's something that can help them with also their sale horizon, because they could say, we work with these people. We have a really good financial advisor. We have some lawyers that we talk to, so that there is a team of people around the client, so the client feels properly supported, whether it be their first house or their 10th in their emerging real estate business.
So tell us about your background. You started in sales and then ended up in law. Do you want to walk through your whole background?
Right. When I had far less gray hair, I started off in sales and did that for a number of years, got kicked up into management. From there, I was involved with politics, getting guys elected for a living. And then from there, I was in real estate development on a small scale. I'd buy pieces of property, renovate them, rent them out, sell them. And then from there into law. What I found that was very beneficial, having this particular trajectory, was it gave me a real understanding, a practical understanding of what people were going through when it comes to real estate transactions. I can remember being, a young guy in his 20s trying to buy a house, and the lawyer sitting across from me saying, well, it costs this much money. Why does it cost this much money? Well, because we have to do this and that. And actually, one lawyer actually said to me, he just looked at me straight in the eye and said, go to law school and you'll figure out what we do. So
you did.
I took the challenge, yeah. A lot of people are going through a stressful time. The real estate agent is for their own reasons, the client is. So to be able to sit there with them and say, okay, I know what you're going through because I was in your seat a few years ago, really helps them and make them feel at ease. Plus, from my sales background, it was drilled into me from a young age that the number one important thing above all else is customer service. The customer is always right. We have to bend over backwards to make sure that the agent, the client, also is very happy, because if they're happy, it just makes everything easier, and you might get some referrals through that. And that's a transferable lesson that I'm sure many of your agents know as well. It's all about not who you know, but who knows you and who's willing to refer you going down the road so that you can keep building your book.
Yeah, very cool. So you've been on both sides. You work with a lot of realtors. What advice would you give realtors who are starting out, where to start in their, I guess, partnering with their lawyer company?
Sure. So when you're starting off, when you're starting as an agent, um, first off, you should have a brokerage that you're working with that has a lot of hands-on support. Because as I'm sure we all know, starting out in that kind of an industry where it's all commission, it's very important to have a support structure on how to train you.
Mm-hmm.
As an addition to that, I would say that a good law firm or a good lawyer is someone that is ancillary to that, that really adds to the support structure of that brokerage. So one of the things that we do is anyone that comes on board with one of the brokerages we work with, or if it's just an agent that we've just met and we developed a friendship with, we'll give them, Diane and I will give them our personal cell phone numbers. The reason why is that we want to make sure that they have that access for when they're doing their first APS, when they're doing their first clause.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important to us that they feel that support because it's, you know, when you're starting out, it's very intricate and it could be make or break. You want one less thing to worry about. And I would also say that in terms of what to tell these new agents, never be afraid to reach out. You're not bothering us if you have a question about, you know, should this be written a certain way?
Mm-hmm.
It actually keeps our skills sharp. If, you know, if
Yeah.
we're constantly thinking about how to make a deal happen, how to pull a deal together, what do
Yeah.
we got to do to make it happen? It actually is mutually beneficial.
Yeah, very cool. What would be 3 characteristics of the best realtor, like your ideal realtor client?
My ideal realtor and client, my best characteristics. It's a good question. I guess it would be someone who is open to communicate, someone that isn't afraid to say, I'm having a problem with this particular area. What can we do? A second aspect would be someone who can anticipate potential issues from both clients and also agents. If a client knows there's going to be something coming up with, hey, Brandon, just so you know, there might be an issue with me getting a mortgage. It might take me a little longer. Do you know any way that we can help this out? So the more communication you do with us, the more you talk with us about all these issues, the more that we can find solutions. Because at the end of the day, I view my job as being solution oriented, right? This might sound corny, but one of the things I say to a client base is, you know, I honestly, truly view my job as one part plumber, one part priest. I'll keep your secrets and clean up your messes. So, you know,
Nice.
let's just try to mitigate as much mess as possible by catching it beforehand.
Very cool. I love it. That's a very visual way to see it. What would you say is a benefit, like maybe in 3 words, what are the benefits of using you versus using any other firm?
Reliability, empathy, and efficiency.
Nice. Very cool. I like that. Tell me more about the efficiency part of it.
So we run everything on a digital hub. We spent a lot of time, Diane and I, researching the legal market and how law firms did things. It's a rather traditional field, as I'm sure you can guess.
Yes.
So for us, it was always about, okay, how can we do this job where if we have to drive to a client because they're perhaps there's a drastic situation where they need us to come to them, maybe they have a mobility issue, how can we still do the job while we're in the car?
Mm-hmm.
Because we also try to view ourselves, again, like a real estate agent. So that is really to the efficiency aspect where everything is digital. We can access everything from our phones. We can access everything through our computers very easily. And through that, we're able to get the job done, even if I was driving to Kingston.
Very cool. What are the most like common questions you get from realtors that you always have to answer throughout deals and transactions?
Common questions. So it would be something along the lines of, you know, what do you think about this clause? Is this going to, you know, protect a client? Does this clause intend what I think it's supposed to intend? That's a common question, especially when you're dealing with things like cottage properties or perhaps unique properties that might be sold for particular reasons.
Mhm.
Another common comment is really about a synopsis of the client themselves. Knowing the first point of contact of the end user, the client, is the agent.
Yeah.
So the agent probably knows this person much better than we're going to know them. They know what their touch points are. They know what their stress points are. So to have that dialogue about, okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Smith, wonderful people. Just so you know, they're going to probably talk to you a little bit about a financing condition. Can you maybe walk them through that? Or Brandon, these people are new Canadians. They have their PR. We need you to sort of really help them through the process of what it means to buy real estate in Canada, because they might be coming from South America, the Middle East, and they have a drastically different view of what it is to own land.
Mhm.
So that's really good too, I think.
Nice, very cool. And you're a business owner on your own, founder. What would you say the best advice you've ever had?
Best advice I've ever had.
Yeah, that you've ever received.
Um, I'd say uh, it would be to stay humble, listen, and always make sure that uh, there's no job that is too big or too small for what I do. When you start putting, I think personally that if I put myself in a position where I'd say, oh no, I can't do that. I need to do other things. I can't do a follow-up call with the mortgage company. I can't do that. That's something for a clerk to do. That's something for an assistant to do. That's something for the agent to do. That's when things start to fall apart, because when you have multiple closings in a day, anything can happen.
Yeah.
And it's important to be able to roll up your sleeves and say, okay, we have to get this done. We're all in this together. Let's do it. Let's
Mhm.
accomplish our goal. So humble and try to
Listen,
get that done. Yeah.
cool. I love it. Thank you. What advice would you give realtors to help them grow their business?
Sure. I think that there's a few things that are interconnected with us parallel to our business, because in the end of the day, we're both a people-run business. I'd say one, routine. If you have a routine, you stick to it no matter what, because it keeps your mind organized about what you need to do. It gives you energy, it gives you structure. I know real estate can be crazy. Believe me, we understand. But to
Yeah.
have some sort of base framework can be very useful to keeping yourself centered. As a second, I'd say empathy. It's important to understand where the client is coming from, why they're doing what they're doing, what difficulties are they having, what are their motivations. Maybe it's a difficult time in their life because it's a divorce, they're trying to sell. Maybe it's an estate sale and their mother has passed. Maybe they're excited because it's their first time home buyer, but they have no idea what they're doing. It's important to figure it out. Two practical points: the importance of having a coffee machine on site, whether it be pot or drip, is indispensable, because you're not driving to Timmy's or Tim Hortons. You're keeping everyone in house. It also forces you to have a quick 5-minute conversation with someone about how's your day going? What can we do to get this deal done? I am fueled by caffeine. I think there's actually more caffeine in my bloodstream than
Love it.
plasma. So I am a big lover of that. I can't get around it. And there's a final note. I learned this when I was in sales, and it still is an absolute gold standard today, is always be kind and patient and understanding with admin staff.
I love it.
Whenever I have to call a brokerage and have to get the information of the lawyer on the other side of the transaction, or if I have to call a clerk or anyone that is at the frontline level. I started off my life working in those kinds of jobs too. So they're generally thankless and they're generally hard. So if you're on the other end of the phone and you're just being really nice, maybe get them to have a chuckle, you're making the day a little easier. And if you make their day a little easier, then I find anyway, that they're willing to do a little bit more for you to help you get the deal done.
Nice. Where do we find you? What's your contact information?
So our website is integrisla.ca. Also, our office line is 647-707-2011. My email is brandon@integrisla.ca, and we're always happy to help.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll put all that in the notes. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and really love that painting. That's really lovely.